Vikrant Pratishtha of Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, I spoke about Dev Bhakti and Desh Bhakti, devotion to the divine and to the nation. During the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj, gods and goddesses, saints, women, children, youth, senior citizens and people from all walks of life came together. We witnessed the awakened consciousness of nation. This was Ekta Ka Mahakumbh, where the sentiment of 140 crore Indians converged for the sacred occasion. I see Janata Janardan, the people, as an embodiment of divinity. In case there has been any shortcoming in our efforts to serve them, I also seek the forgiveness of the people. We must use the energy of the last 45 days in Prayagraj to dedicate ourselves to Viksit Bharat.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can Dev Bhakti pave the way for Desh Bhakti? We just got you a glimpse of Prime Minister Modi's opinion piece after the culmination of Mahakumbh. He has appealed to harness the Astha and energy of Mahakumbh for a Viksit Bharat. But look at the contrast. For Modi, Astha is the way towards Ekta and Vikas, but for the Congress party, Astha is an ATM. Why? Why, you may ask? Well, the Congress's Sarkar in Himachal Pradesh has zeroed in on Hindu mandirs to fund their freebies and schemes by the Congress government. They've asked 36 state-run temples to contribute funds for two schemes, Sukh Ashray scheme and Sukh Shiksha Yojana, meant for orphans and education. Nothing wrong about that, and nothing wrong in launching welfare schemes. But is it correct to expect mandirs to fund it? The temple funds are, after all, donations given by the devout as a mark of their astha. Question would also be asked whether this is not a holy task. Feeding children, educating children, of course it is. But why only ask temples then, is a question many might raise. But pictures also speak louder than words. Look at these two images from Mahashivratri from Himachal, tweeted by the BJP. On the one hand, there is a grand chariot for Chief Minister Sukhu with a decorated umbrella to shield him from the rain. On the other hand, there is a plastic sheet used to cover the shivling at the revered Dev Shri Chunjwal, a Shiv Kothi Sagarji. These visuals speak for themselves. No astha really on display there. Let me also remind you of the irony. Sonia and Kharge boycotted the Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha, calling it a BJP event, while Rahul Gandhi called it a completely Modi event. The Congress president dismissed Mahakumbh, saying Astha won't end poverty. For Congress, Aarti on Mahashivratri is a compromise. Isn't that true? Because that's what they directed at DK Shiv Kumar. But when it comes to money, they find it extremely convenient to go to mandirs with a khali joli. And what about secularism? It is unsecular of the BJP to spend money on Mahakumbh to create infrastructure, but certainly not very unsecular for the Congress party to demand money from temples to fund Congress schemes in states. The BJP has now lambasted the Congress government in Himachal for its Sanatan hypocrisy. And while cornered, Congress has tried to justify this in the name of good cause. Listen in to both the versions.
एक तरफ सनातन का विरोध कर रहे हैं और दूसरी तरफ देखिए परिस्थिति ऐसी है कि हिमाचल प्रदेश में सरकार ने हाल ही में एक फैसला लिया है कि सरकार के पास पैसे नहीं है। सरकार के एक विभाग के सेक्रेटरी डिप्टी कमिश्नर को चिट्ठी लिखते हैं कि मंदिरों और ट्रस्ट में जो पैसा है, जो सरकारी नियंत्रण में हिमाचल प्रदेश में लगभग 36 टोटल मंदिर हैं, उन मंदिरों और ट्रस्ट में जो पैसा है, उस पैसे को सरकार के खजाने में जमा कर दें, ताकि हिमाचल प्रदेश की दो योजना, एक सुखाश्रय योजना और सुख शिक्षा योजना, ये दो योजनाओं को चलाने के लिए हम उस पैसे को खर्च कर सकें।
मुख्यमंत्री सुख आश्रय कोष के लिए सरकार की तरफ से बजट रखा गया है। कोई मंदिरों का पैसा उसमें देने की बात नहीं की गई है। हमारा बजट है और बजटेड स्कीम है और एक कानून के द्वारा दी गई बजटेड स्कीम है। तो जो अच्छी योजनाएं हैं उसमें जयराम ठाकुर जी को भी योगदान करना चाहिए।
जिस कांग्रेस पार्टी ने दिल्ली की 120 से ज्यादा प्राइम प्रॉपर्टीज वक्फ के नाम पे कर दी, जो कांग्रेस पार्टी ने वक्फ को एक लैंड माफिया के रूप में इस देश में चलने दिया, आज वही कांग्रेस पार्टी मंदिरों को लूटने का प्रयास हिमाचल के अंदर कर रही है।
मंदिरों की बात ही नहीं है, हम चाहते हैं कि लोग इसमें जो अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं इसमें आके बढ़ चढ़ कर दान दें और अच्छे कार्य के लिए अपना योगदान अवश्य दें, ये मेरा मानना है। अब बीजेपी क्या कह रही है ये मुझे ज्ञान नहीं है कि क्यों इस तरीके से इन्होंने तोड़ मरोड़ के ये बात आगे पब्लिक में रखी है।
Let numbers speak for themselves when it comes to devotion. Around 1.4 crore people visit Mecca annually for Hajj. Around 80 lakh people visit the Vatican City in a year. But 66 crore devotees went for a sacred snan at Prayagraj over the last 45 days. Just like the Ram Mandir, it united India, cutting across regions, cultures and even religions. So why has the Congress party and its allies mocked Hindu Astha? Here's a reminder.
The RSS and the BJP have made the 22nd January function a completely political नरेंद्र मोदी फंक्शन।
अरे भाई, गंगा में डुबकी लेने से गरीबी दूर होती क्या? आपको खाना मिलता पेट को? मैं किसी की आस्था के ऊपर ठोस नहीं लगाना चाहता हूं। अगर किसी को दुख हुआ तो मैं माफी चाहता हूं। तो ये लोग जाकर हजारों रुपए खर्च करके कंपटीशन पे डुबकियां मार रहे।
सब कुंभ का क्या कोई मतलब है? फालतू है, कुंभ।
स्नान करते समय मुंह में पानी लें, भर के सभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के विधायक सांसद आज के बाद इसी से वो खाना बनाएं, इसी से स्नान करें, इसी को जब समय हो तो पिएं।
सबसे ज्यादा कंटामिनेटेड वाटर इस वक्त कहाँ है? कुंभ में है।
While the Congress party is eyeing temples' treasures, why not seek funds from cash-rich Waqf boards? Here's a Newshour fact check on. We're looking at Himachal Pradesh. Now, Himachal Pradesh has 4,500 Waqf properties almost, but Chief Minister Sukhu isn't demanding the Waqf to contribute with these khatakhat schemes. The schemes are good, no doubt, but why not ask across all religions, everybody to donate? Let's tell you about other Waqf boards too. This is what was revealed in the Supreme Court in February 2020. The Bengal Sunni Waqf Board has properties worth over 13,000 crore. The Bengal Shia Waqf Board has properties worth over 5,000 crore. Tamil Nadu Sunni Waqf Board has 99,000 crore rupee assets, while the Shia Waqf Board has almost 700 crore properties. So why are only temples and ATM for the Congress party? They have problems with the Mahakumbh, they have problems with Mahashivratri. Now, even funds with temples is something that they want to have their ATM working. Is that really fair? Question being asked by many. So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question that we're asking on the Newshour tonight. Hindus and Hindus' faith, soft targets for the Congress party? That's the question and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Ajay Alok, BJP national spokesperson. Also joining the debate, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate in the Supreme Court. Sujata Pandey, political analyst. Dr. Ashutosh Verma, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Vivek Srivastava, political analyst, supports the left parties. But my first question goes to Dr. Sanjay Jha, Congress leader, author, merchant banker, what have you. Sanjay Jha, I have no problem with the schemes that the Congress party wants to finance. Great schemes, education of young children, education of orphanage children, all very well meant. No problems with that. The question I want to ask is, why not be secular? When you raise questions about the secularism of Yogi Adityanath, about spending money on one religion because Mahakumbh is only for the Hindus, then how come the Himachal Pradesh Congress government wants to demand only funds from temples? Why not from other religions as well? And I want to ask you, the Congress party has been up in arms against the Waqf legislation. You were almost, going to throw out the chairman, move a no confidence motion against the chairman of the JPC, chairman who was heading the entire committee. But not one word on the cash rich, on the land rich Waqf boards to donate for this noble cause. Is noble cause only the responsibility of temples in this country? It's a question many are asking tonight.
Yeah. Navika, good evening. Let me answer you in brief. Number one, to a lot of people who are supporters of the BJP and the RSS, the bad news for them is that the Supreme Court, when they received petitions from many supporters of the fundamentalist elements in the country, the Supreme Court said, I'm sorry, but secular and socialism will continue to be part of India's preamble to the Constitution. So bad news for the BJP, RSS and their supporters. We are a secular country and we will remain secular forever. Point number one. Point number two. Navika, you have a point. You have a point when you ask about the finances of the state, but I need to make this very clear because I think this is a serious issue, not just a typical political slugfest. The finances of a state are not independent upon the health of the country overall. It's not as if Himachal Pradesh or Maharashtra or Jharkhand operate in isolation and are not affected by the budget or the fiscal policies of Mr. Modi's government. So here are some realities. I would request all your viewers today to look at when is the last time Mr. Modi talked about the 5 trillion economy. Trust me, with the collapse of the rupee against the dollar, the 5 trillion goal has gone ahead by a couple of years. And I'm telling you, the finance minister and the prime minister will not talk about the 5 trillion for a long, long time. Look at number two, the state of the Indian rupee, which, by the way, if it is not propped up by the foreign exchange support by the RBI, will collapse, leading to a further derailment of an Indian economy that is already headed towards a slump. So here is my second point. My third point is even the stock markets. The BJP keeps talking about the stock markets. Stock markets are in a free fall. And I'm telling you, having been in that side of my career for a while, the stock markets haven't yet touched the bottom. They're going to fall further before at some point they get arrested. The larger point I'm trying to make here, Navika, is whether it's Himachal, whether it's Maharashtra, Gujarat, you look at Uttar Pradesh, you look at Madhya Pradesh, I would request everyone to look at the fiscal health index of the Niti Aayog. Some of the most critical states that have struggled are BJP ruled. So while Himachal has a problem and they have gone ahead and said, well, we need to figure out how to support some of our welfare expenditures, the truth is all states in India are under severe financial stress because as a whole the Indian economy is struggling. And my point on the Sanatan, a reminder to the BJP, Navika, I'm going back exactly 1 year. You remember around this time we were discussing the Ram Temple, the consecration ceremony, and the BJP assumed that the election was done and dusted. And the people of India sent a message in June, including in Faizabad, that for us bread, butter and our roti kapra makan matters a lot more. To the BJP, I will say, please govern this country like a secular country and stop looking at everything from the prism of religion.
Brilliant. I love your advice to the BJP. You're most welcome to give that advice. But 3 minutes introduction, I waited and waited and waited for you to answer my question on the secularism of the Congress, which of course says that, secularism is a word and a feeling that they have actually coined in this country. और तो कोई secular है ही नहीं. कांग्रेस ने ही जन्म दिया है secularism को. You have not commented on that. You have not said why the Congress party should only ask temples to give funds for these schemes. Why not approach other? Ajay Alokji, while fiscal health is the plane on which Sanjay Jha took this entire debate, do you think he's short of answers on the secularism or the allergy to temples and Hindu festivals, whether it is Mahakumbh or Mahashivratri? Is it really that? Haath tang hai zara us par jawab dene ke liye?
I call the BJP as a Maha fraud party, Navika.
Navika ji, okay, let me answer, Sanjay ji. You had your word.
Sure.
Navika ji, first of all, I would like to tell you that Sanjay Jha evades all question, whatever you have asked, whether regarding Himachal, whether about secularism, whether about why only Hindu temple should give funds, nothing doing. He took entirely a different tangent altogether to take it into physical deficit, stock market, blah, 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 $5 trillion economy. Are we here to discuss that today? No, Sanjay Jha, we are here to discuss that why only temples are being asked for money. We are not here to discuss rest any other things. So please don't change the goalpost. Now, he also mentioned in between that Supreme Court said that this country is going to remain secular and social, and that's what the decision is. No, that was not the decision. Supreme Court dismissed the petition saying that it reminded you after so long that this has been done to the preamble and this is the work of the parliament. So still it hangs in the parliament. It's up to us whether we get it or not. That's a different story altogether. So please don't twist that secularism and socialism. Now third thing, Astha. This Astha is, at one point of time, we have spoken of Narendra Modi, and just now, Navika ji, you said that what Prime Minister had written about the blog, that how we want to create a Viksit Bharat from this Astha. And Mahakumbh, how Mahakumbh can be an example for that. But the problem lies with the Congress that the Astha is only for Viksit Gandhis. The Congress, the last two S stands for squeezing the states. Every state they have left, they have squeezed the state. I am saying this with authenticity, but I can say this about Rajasthan, I can say this about Chhattisgarh, I can say this about Madhya Pradesh. Any state they rule, when they leave, it's already a squeezed state. Now the Himachal Pradesh, after imposing taxes on toilet seats, they have stooped to the level that they want fund from the temples. Of course, the temple funds are obviously in this country are there in the government custodian, but the government is not supposed to spend them until something grave or something emergency condition arises. That means itself declaration of the Himachal Pradesh government that they are in emergency. None of the Indian states have declared this kind of emergency. Now I think the next turn is going to be for Karnataka or for that matter Telangana. This is the kind of governance you have. And as far as apathy towards Hinduism, it's very clearly obvious that when they can call Ramlala a Narendra Modi event, a BJP event, after announcing that Rahul and Priyanka are going to visit Kumbh, they won't ever bother to visit Kumbh, and everybody giving blah 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 statement about Kumbh. So it is quite obvious that they don't belong to this concept of Astha of Hinduism. And of course I don't mind it also, because Rahul Gandhi is not a Hindu. Why he should believe in Hinduism, or for that matter Hindu deities or Hindu Astha? So I don't have a question for that. But today the utter incompetence of the Himachal government had led to this failure. Nothing else. And they have the audacity to write to the Deputy Commissioner and the Commissioner of all 36 temples to direct the funds to complete the state-sponsored project.
But it's not just about Himachal Pradesh that we are talking. We are talking about the mindset here. And आशुतोष वर्मा जी, मैं माइंडसेट की जब बात करती हूं तो सिर्फ कांग्रेस की बात नहीं कर रही. हमारे यहां अपीजमेंट पॉलिटिक्स इतना चला है कि हम शायद सोचते भी नहीं. महाकुंभ हो, महाशिवरात्रि हो, अब डीके शिव कुमार महाशिवरात्रि अटेंड करने जाते हैं तो कांग्रेस में लोगों को लगता है कि वो अपने मूल से दूर हो गए, अपनी कोर आइडियोलॉजी से दूर हो गए. गलत सिग्नल जा रहा है पार्टी के वर्कर्स को. वहां महाकुंभ के बारे में तो जो कहा गया वो कम है, चाहे वो अखिलेश जी हों, चाहे वो मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे हों, सबने कहा. पर द क्वेश्चन इज स्कीम्स, यस, schemes for children, schemes for poor people, very good cause, noble cause, welfare cause, must be financed. But should the government finance it through their own revenue streams, or should they ask only temples to contribute to that, is the fundamental question, because let me tell you, in the past, a bill has been moved in Karnataka in which endowments of temples, because temples are controlled by the governments, state governments, temples, they have wanted to take away 10% of the temple's funds in the name of contribution to the state through an Endowments Act. There was an uproar. That bill could not be passed in the assembly. Tamil Nadu has brought another bill of the same kind. Again, they had to withdraw that bill. My question is, secular credentials. Why is secularism only when you take funds from temples? Why not take funds from other religious places of worship as well? They are equally rich. If you want people to do social service, shouldn't social service be across the board? Why only one religion should be tapped like an ATM? Isn't that the moot question here, Ashutosh ji?
Thank you.
Can I add one line?
I think since preparing this, pardon?
Just one line.
Boliye aap, Ashutosh ji. Ajay Alok ji, I'll come back to you.
Can I add one line?
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah. So since coming to this and reading about this Chukhashra scheme is really a wonderful scheme, but I don't know why you are just blowing out of proportion when the statement comes from the PCC chief Himachal Pradesh Pratibha Singh that it is not only the temple but other organizations, they have also urged to give funds to the scheme. So I think the question should not be stick only for the temples only. So until unless Congress is not clearing this, that we are only asking from the temple, this debate has no issue, because this is something making til of tahar, til ka taad banana ho raha hai. About the secularism, I can say that secularism is a fundamental part of the constitution, and why accusing only Samajwadi Party or opposition party that we are doing appeasement? If we talk about the Bharatiya Janata Party, they are doing appeasement politics too. But since they are doing a vegetarian politics, you can't count on them. But people give their verdict according to their judgment. It is not about what Navika Kumar ji or Bharatiya Janata Party spokesman says. They have made a huge temple of Ram Mandir. They are doing a Pran Pratishtha. They spend crores and crores on these advertisements. But what they have seen in the election 2024, the people give a huge mandate against Bharatiya Janata Party. And when you are talking about the finances, I think today is a good time to talk about finances. The investors has lost about 32 lakh crores today. Nobody is talking. And Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson was talking about the emergency fund. I may remind them, in 2029, Bharatiya Janata Party, Modi Sarkar has withdrawn 1.76 lakh crore from the RBI.
2029 वैसे अभी आया नहीं है.
So economic emergency is always there in India.
2029 तो आया नहीं है अभी.
Sorry, 2019. Don't pick on the lines. Navika ji, you know the fact. Don't pick on these pretty lines on like this. 2020 नहीं आया. 2019 आया था और आपने भी देखा था, तब आप नहीं बोल पा रहे.
जी बिल्कुल 2019 को.
That is not an issue. But problem is कि if you are blowing something out of proportion, so you have to at least ask with the Bharatiya Janata Congress Chief Minister why you are doing all these things. And you are just making all these debates without any baseless accusation.
Oh, the debate has no basis. If funds are being sought from temples, the debate does not have a basis. If secularism, which is questioned day in and day out, if a question is raised, it has no basis. Well, Ajay Alok ji, please respond. I'm coming to you, Ishkar.
Give me a minute. Navika ji, the funds has been taken from the RBI. 32 lakh crore have been wasted. This is the main problem.
RBI तो secular है ना. Temple secular नहीं होता. वो religious place of worship होता है. RBI is secular. You can take funds from there. Himachal Pradesh government, based on its credit rating, can approach banks and RBI to take funds.
Debate का एक एंगल रख लीजिए, या तो फाइनेंस पे बात कर लीजिए या सेकुलरिज्म पे बात कर लीजिए. या तो आप एक दोनों चीज को मिला नहीं सकती हैं.
अगर टेंपल से फंड मांगे जाएं तो क्यों नहीं मिला सकती मैं? नहीं, जब टेंपल से फंड मांगे जाएं तो क्यों नहीं मिलेंगी दोनों चीजें, फाइनेंसेस और टेंपल फंड्स? How come they are not related? अजय आलोक जी प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड.
नहीं बता रहा हूं मैं कैसे मिला सकते हैं.
जी, अगर आप एक मिनट
नहीं, मैंने आशुतोष जी आपके सुविधा के लिए आपको बता देता हूं कैसे सेकुलरिज्म और फाइनेंस को कैसे रिलेट करते हैं, बताता हूं। सुनिए
क्यों कूद रहे हैं भाई? आपसे बात ही नहीं हो रही है
भैया। आपसे मेरा समय है तो आप क्यों बोल रहे हैं?
आपने अपने
समय मेरा है, बोल आपने।
प्रतिभा सिंह का आपने बाइट चलाया, आप उसको फिर से चला दीजिए। उन्होंने साफ साफ कहा है एएनआई पे कि न केवल मंदिर बल्कि अदर संस्थाओं से भी हमने बात करी है। तो फिर आप मंदिर को लेकर क्यों बैठ गई? क्योंकि आपको एजेंडा।
उन्होंने अदर संस्था नहीं कही है, मैं आपको दोबारा सुनवा देती हूं। उन्होंने कहा है कि जितने भी लोग डोनेट कर सकें, लोग, इंडिविजुअल्स, इट इज इंडिविजुअल्स एंड नॉट संस्थास दैट शी मेंशन्ड। आप चाहें मैं दोबारा सुनवा देती हूं। कैन वी रीप्ले द साउंड बाइट ऑफ द कांग्रेस लीडर इन हिमाचल?
मंदिरों की बात ही नहीं है। हम चाहते हैं कि लोग इसमें जो अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं इसमें आके बढ़ चढ़ कर दान दें और अच्छे कार्य के लिए अपना योगदान अवश्य दें।
आशुतोष जी, लोग जो अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं, संस्था का शब्द इस्तेमाल नहीं हुआ। इससे पहले कि आप कहें कि मैं बीजेपी की रिपोर्टर हूं, बीजेपी की एंकर हूं और तमाम रंग मुझ पे लगा दें, मैं आपको बताना चाहती हूं जो लोग अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं, और लोगों का मतलब संस्था नहीं होता।
जबरदस्ती की बातें उसमें निकाल रही हैं। देखिए, इसका कोई उत्तर मेरे पास नहीं है, इसका कोई उत्तर मेरे पास नहीं। जब आप जबरदस्ती तिल का ताड़ बना रही है।
अच्छा, मैं जबरदस्ती तिल का ताड़ बना रही हूं। अजय आलोक जी, फर्स्ट यू।
तो आप निकाल
फाइनेंस और सेकुलरिज्म कैसे, फाइनेंस
आप खुश रहिए, इसका कोई इलाज नहीं।
फाइनेंस और सेकुलरिज्म कैसे होता है मैं बताता हूं इनको। सुनिए 1 मिनट, आशुतोष जी शांति से सुनिए। फाइनेंस और सेकुलरिज्म कैसे होता है? जब हज भवन बनाते हैं नोएडा में और लखनऊ में सरकार के पैसे से, वो होता है सेकुलरिज्म और फाइनेंस। जब हज सब्सिडी दी जाती है पूरे देश में टैक्स पेयर के पैसे से, वो होता है सेकुलरिज्म और फाइनेंस। और सरकारी स्कीम चलाने के लिए हिंदू मंदिर से पैसे जबरदस्ती छीन लो तो वो क्या होता है? वो होता है नेशनलिज्म आपके हिसाब से, है ना?
नहीं तो क्या
शर्म नहीं आती आप लोग? बेशरम है आप लोग। आशुतोष जी, आप तो लगातार झूठ बोलते हैं टीवी पे। आप तो लगातार झूठ बोलते हैं टीवी पे।
अरे
आप ये दूसरी बार झूठ बोल रहे हैं। दूसरी बार आप झूठ बोल रहे हैं।
बोलता हूँ आपको,
इसी तरह आप झूठ बोलते हैं, सबको झूठ लाते हैं। किस संस्था का नाम लिया था प्रतिभा सिंह ने?
पता ही नहीं है।
प्रतिभा सिंह ने किस संस्था का नाम लिया था? तथ्यों का मुझे पता नहीं है। आप तो मुझे यूपी उपचुनाव में आप मुझे तथ्य बता रहे थे।
आप आके चिल्ला रहे,
यूपी उपचुनाव में आप मुझे तथ्य बता रहे थे। कहां गए आपके तथ्य?
पार्टी के बारे में पता है,
हज सब्सिडी बढ़ाई है तो वो सेकुलरिज्म के बारे
में पता है।
हज भवन बनाइए नोएडा में सरकारी जमीन लेके, लखनऊ में बनाइए हज भवन तो सेकुलरिज्म हो जाता है। किसके पैसे हैं वो? Ask Mr. Akhilesh Prasad Singh and Rahul Gandhi to donate to Himachal government. प्रियंका गांधी,
अखिलेश यादव, आप भी नाम कंफ्यूज कर रहे हैं। अखिलेश यादव जी उनके पार्टी चीफ हैं, नॉट अखिलेश प्रताप सिंह। लेट मी करेक्ट यू अजय आलोक जी। लेकिन ईश्वरन भंडारी, आई होल्ड इन माई हैंड द लेटर ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ हिमाचल प्रदेश लैंग्वेज आर्ट एंड कल्चर डिपार्टमेंट। दिस लेटर इज addressed to only temple commissioners. It is not addressed also to any other sanstha, as Ashutosh Verma ji pointed out. It is not addressed to anybody. And the soundbite of the Congress leader Pratibha Singh ji clearly says that other people who can afford it should also come and give. In my personal capacity, of course, I would love to donate to the cause of educating children. I have no doubt in my mind it's a good cause. But when this is demanded only from temples, is there a problem, Ishkaran Bhandari?
Navika ji, 30 minutes I was waiting that somebody will come, even if with a lame defense, to say why money can be taken from temple, but you are not trying to take money from Waqf boards which control land or for any other religious institution. Everybody went around in circles. Nobody can address it. We heard lectures on secularism. The secularism as being practiced in India, and that is the misfortune, is with one hand you hold a stick to beat Hindus into submission. If they go to Kumbh, you try to create a narrative against it. You try to create a narrative against Mahashivratri. If a devotee gives money to Mandir, then the government uses it for its own purposes, not for religious purposes. On the other hand, you have Waqf Act. You make it stronger and stronger till it becomes the third largest landholder in India. So that is secularism in action in India. But why stop there? Please see what are the other aspects of this. First aspect, when you issue a government department issues a notice or a government order to a department it controls, that's an order. That is not an appeal of charity. The department which issues that order, the underlining department has to comply with it. Whereas when you say please donate, that's an appeal of charity. That is a simple governance and bureaucracy in India. I am surprised people don't understand the difference. But it is deliberate non-understanding. Second aspect, I would still wait because you started this debate by saying, how is it if you want to do for welfare that you do not take it from any other religious institution except Hindus? Let me give you one example. Recently, excess Mandir funds, the government wanted to use it to build a shopping complex. The Madras High Court put a stay on that, did not allow that. That is how under the garb of secularism, funds are being misused, lands are being captured, given to their political appointees, given to friends at various rents which are way below the market rate. And we have seen this in state after state that is happening. The only solution is to free temples, because this debate of secularism, you will never satisfy those whose whole aim is to reduce Hindu unity, to not let temple have money for its religious purposes, to create situations where it becomes difficult to celebrate Hindu festivals or for the mandirs to remain open. See the list of how many mandirs have shut down because they don't have funds. The government takes it over. The government from the rich mandirs takes the money, but mandirs which need support, they do not give any supports and they go into disuse in a sense.
Important point made by Ishkaran Bhandari and Vivek Srivastava. I want to ask you, taking funds from RBI is equal to taking funds from a temple? I want to ask you, great schemes, again I reiterate,
yes, I'll tell you.
Funding of education for children, there cannot be a bigger noble cause than that. But why not depend on own revenue streams of the government? Why knock at the doors of temples as an ATM? And if you're knocking at the doors of religious institutions, for them to come forward with donations, great cause, then why only for one religious institution, why not for the others? Isn't that fair and square?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I'll tell you now. Number one, Ishkaran Bhandari ne badi immaturely bola, he doesn't know the history of this country. Few families or few pundits were controlling the entire funds only for their family. Whatever chanda was coming, whatever donations were given, it was used by specific families. So this Brahmanical...
वो ज़माने लग गए अब तो temples are controlled by government, sir. So is this not a case where government control over temples should go?
To answer this.
अरे मेरे को बोलने तो दीजिए. No, the government control of temple should not go. We have seen it with the DMK.
Then why should it not be on other religious places of worship as well?
The government of Kerala. Yes, definitely. The Waqf board is already being controlled by the government. It has got a tribunal which has got the sitting judge from the state high court and another appointee who is also from the government. It is not owned by any particular family or a Maulvi. This is the first clarification. Whereas the temples were owned by particular families or particular priests. That control has to go, funding has to come, and one of the first few people who made the Vaishno Devi Shrine Board was Jagmohan from the RSS, who said that the money is being taken by the Brahminical priests over here. That needs to stop. We'll take it and we'll develop the area. Area is what he said.
Jagmohan from the RSS. You've forgotten Jagmohan from the emergency, but that's convenience of history and convenience of your own memory that you hold. But Sujata Pandey, why is Mr. Vivek Srivastava in a time warp and why is he wrong on every count? Do governments control Waqf boards? पहले तो यही समझा दीजिए.
पहले तो Navika ji, I think, I would consider this as an insult to explain religious sentiments to a communist. First of all, Vivek Srivastava doesn't know a thing. He doesn't know that this temple controlling by the government was started by the Britishers in 1926. So it is not controlled by some Brahminical prestige. And Vivek Srivastava has this typical thing. जब भी वो corner हो जाते हैं तो वो Brahminical patriarchal society पे चले जाते हैं. But we'll bring back the debate to the point. The point is, Navika, that after this show, three things should happen. One, the never-ending debate between building a Ram temple or building a temple versus building a state should end and be rest to peace, because from Mahakumbh to Ram Janam Bhoomi to Kashi Vishwanath, everything has been contributing to this country, and now looks like that the temples are not just a powerhouse of our spiritual consciousness, or they are also the economical powerhouse, but also they are the powerhouse to end the government woes, such like in Himachal. Secondly, are Hindu temples, this needs to be answered, are Hindu temples, and for how long Hindu temples will going to be an ATM for failed government schemes, khatakat schemes, unthinkable schemes and freebies offered to the thing, and then the temple has to be at the bottom. And then and they are not given due credit. आप राम मंदिर का विरोध करते हो, आप महाकुंभ का विरोध करते हो, आप काशी कॉरिडोर का विरोध करते हो, आप कहते हो कि उससे गरीबी दूर नहीं होगी, लेकिन यहाँ पे तो आपकी जो स्कीम है, आपकी खुद की गवर्नमेंट स्कीम जो है, वो टेम्पल के फंड को कटोरा लेके खड़े हैं आप। तीसरी चीज that it must be answered, that for how long we are going to call ourselves secular when we continue to tax temples and control them while we advocate for a free Waqf board, and then we continue to fund the exclusively minority institution. There is a subsidy for Hajj, but there is no subsidy for Amarnath Yatra. And the most important thing, which probably nobody is picking up, is that what is the development model, or what is the model that Congress wants to project in any of the upcoming election? Is it the Khatakhat model, which has failed in Karnataka, or which is the Khatakhat model of the Himachal, which is now again gone back to the same temples which you continue to use and abuse? आप कहते हैं कि सनातन का समूल नाश कर देंगे. Sanatan is equal to malaria, dengue and whatnot. But you go to the temples asking for, begging for money. You need to answer one thing. You need to answer one thing. Yet this double standard would not work. You continue to abuse Sanatan.
Sanjay Jha, double standard. When has government ever spent any mandir on the upkeep of the mandir? Why should mandirs then donate for government schemes, whichever scheme it is? On the principle of donation or just taking away, why should it happen? This is all money that is, got together by the devotees. They give their daan, they give their dakshana for the upkeep of the temple, to continue the Hindu festivals, rituals, what have you. Why should there be any government interference into those funds? Can you just answer that question? And why only in one religion should there be that interference?
Navika, I have a strong objection to your panelists speaking with the viciousness and with the fake news that they propagate on your show. I will tell you, the word Astha is being abused. This is the same political party and its cheerleaders who were silent on your show and any other TV program when ordinary devotees died in the Mahakumbh and the VVIPs were given a preferential treatment. This is Astha. This is Astha. When ordinary people died in the Delhi railway station, the news was on. Please, can you tell her not to?
We've been over that. We've been over that, and nobody can mourn the death of those who lost their lives in the stampede. And I'm not going to minimize, the pain of losing those people. Having said that, 66 crore people visiting Mahakumbh. Are we only going to remember it by the stampede, or are we also going to remember it by some of the positive things that came out of it, which is the unity, the ekta of people, as the Prime Minister points out, which is the revival and the renaissance of our old culture? And I'm not even talking about religion here, because people from all walks of life, all religions went there. It was just India, Indianness, and just that faith. Are we going to minimize the importance of that when we compare to the Himachal model, or are you just escaping answering any questions on the Congress model of mocking and using Hindu temples, Hindu faith just as an ATM for money or for votes? We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side, the big language war. Ladies and gentlemen,